Hey guys, my name is Steven and I decided to do this segment because it's about cars and I happen to know a thing or two about cars. So, you guys want to talk about cars from the 80s? Let's get right into it. First things first, we can't talk about that until we talk about the gas crisis of 1972 because it basically convinced everyone that they should buy economy cars. American auto manufacturers have been using giant V8s in their giant cars which chug gas faster than Joseph chugs root beer. And whenever an oil crisis hits and the gas prices go way up, they started hurting real stinking fast. So whenever the Japanese and the German automakers brought in their tiny economy cars, they became instant kings of the automotive industry in America. And so by the late 80s, pretty much everyone had been convinced that economy cars were just the move. They were just the way to go. So cars like the Toyota Corolla and the Honda Civic, they were selling really fast. But the problem for most families is that they were getting bigger and they needed a bigger vehicle that was still good on gas. And there was a little niche in the market, and it was instantly filled by the minivan. I'm pretty sure that everybody knows what a minivan is, right? Right? SUVs also began to get popular as people realized how cool they were.
Kind of like this Ford Bronco.
And SUVs just kept getting bigger and bigger on into the 90s. And now they're stinking massive. Look at this Cadillac Escalade. This is a big car. Also, if you look at a car from the beginning of the 80s to the end of the 80s, you'll begin to notice that they get a lot more round. Cars during the 80s were very blocky. They were very wedged shaped. They looked like they were made out of Legos. As they get closer to the 90s, they begin to get a little bit more round. A little bit more round. That was the styling of the 90s, is they became very round. So yeah, that's cool. That's a lie. It's boring. It's boring, I tell you. If you really want to talk about cars from the 1980s, then we need to talk about supercars. Alright, first things first, possibly the most iconic supercar to come out of the 1980s, the Lamborghini Countach. Pretty much every 80s kid knows what a Lamborghini Countach is because it was on everything. Lunchboxes, posters in your bedroom, Trapper Keepers, if you remember what Trapper Keepers are. It's a super iconic car that's shaped like a piece of cheese. How could you not love it? The Countach was released in 1971 and was produced all the way to 1990, so yes, it is in this time period and I can talk about it. However, because it was produced in such a large span of time, there are a bunch of different variations of the Countach. So the best ones that came out in this specific period of time are the LT 5000 QV, which stands for Quattro Valvole, and the 25th Anniversary Edition. I saw one of the rarest 25th Anniversary Editions. It was white on white, and it looked like this. Actually, Joseph was there too for that. You can ask him about that if you'd like. Both the 5000 QV and the 25th Anniversary are pushing 449 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. The Lamborghini Countach was actually the fastest car in the world when it was released, and I believe it held on to that title until 1986. But then, well, then came the Porsche 959. I have all the specifications for these cars on this piece of paper. Porsche 959 was released in 1986, and when it dropped, it was the most technologically advanced car in the world. It came on an all-wheel drive platform with a twin turbocharged Boxer 6 engine, which was good for 444 horsepower.
Steven, I'm pretty sure that's actually less horsepower than the Countach.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! It was faster. It was faster. 198 miles an hour. That's the fastest car in the world. The thing that really made the 959 unique is that it was never actually built for the road. This was a rally supercar, a supercar that was built to go off-road, which has never been done before and has never been done since. That's the real reason why it was all-wheel drive. And by the way, did I mention that this is the fastest car in the world in 1986? The fastest car in the world, and it's built for off-road use? That's stinking cool. Unfortunately, the 959 would only hold the fastest car in the world crown for 1 year, because in 1987, Ferrari dropped Ferrari F40. Ferrari people often call this car the best car ever made. It's a supercar made entirely out of carbon fiber, powered by a twin-turbo V8 engine that makes 477 horsepower and 426 pound-feet of torque, all going to the rear wheels. Also, it sounds like this. And like I said, whenever it dropped in 1987, this became the fastest car in the world, with a top speed of 201 miles an hour. And yeah, I think that's it. That should be everything that you need to know about cars. Sorry, I basically took a tangent to talk about supercars, Joseph. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and enjoy the rest of his video. Oh, and before I go, this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Alright, Joseph, you can take over again, man. I'm done. Excuse me, man. I'm out of here. Also, Joseph, you better link the paper tiger in the description or I'm suing.